You thought getting better would make you feel more certain. Then you got better. Now you notice mistakes you never saw before. You compare yourself to people you once couldn't even understand. Things you used to feel proud of suddenly look basic. You know more than you did. Yet, you trust yourself less. That wasn't the deal. Progress was supposed to quiet the doubt. Instead, it gave the doubt more evidence to work with. Did getting better make you more aware? Or did it finally expose how limited you really are? Ippo Makinuchi has spent years trapped inside that question. He entered boxing wanting to know what it meant to be strong. He trained, he faced fighters who terrified him, he won fights nobody thought he could win. He even became a champion. Yet, the question that started everything survived the belt. If years of progress can still leave someone unsure of their own strength, what are the rest of us supposed to trust? Because if you've ever improved and somehow felt less certain afterward, Ippo's search may reveal why doubt can feel more convincing as you improve, and whether it's been giving you the full picture. To understand which one it is, we need to start with what Ippo expected becoming a champion would prove. A belt can settle who won. What it cannot settle is what you hoped that victory would change inside you. You probably have your own version of that belt, a number on the scale, a finished project, a promotion, the first time someone calls you talented instead of promising. You imagine reaching it will finally change how you see yourself. Then the goal becomes reality. You feel proud, relieved, maybe unstoppable for an afternoon. A few days later, you are still you. The old doubts are already back, asking the same questions as before. Sometimes we choose a visible goal because it's easier to measure than the private doubt we actually want it to fix. Defeating Sendo proves Ippo belongs at the championship level, but Ippo entered boxing to learn what it meant to be strong, not merely whether he could win a belt. The victory answered who won that night. It could not give him the lasting certainty he expected. That happens when you expect one milestone to make you confident, disciplined, or finally good enough. Your achievement may not have failed you. You may have given it a job no achievement could complete alone. Ippo thought the belt would settle the question. It didn't, so he began looking elsewhere. And what he learned gave him more reasons to doubt himself. Every strong person he met seemed to offer a different answer. At first, strength looks simple. Push through whatever's in front of you. Then you meet someone whose strength is knowing when not to push. Experience does not always make the answer clearer. Sometimes it shows you that your first answer was incomplete. Every fighter he meets complicates Ippo's definition of strength. Miyata has timing and precision. Sendo fights through instinct and force. Date stays composed while controlling the ring. Kamigawa's strength is the responsibility he carries for his fighters. Ippo can now see strength everywhere. Ippo did not understand strength less than before. He simply learned enough to see how little his first definition explained. Seeing more forms of strength should have made Ippo feel closer. Instead, it gave him more ways to notice what he still lacked. Beginners have one advantage they rarely appreciate. They cannot worry about mistakes they have not learned to notice. You finish your first project and you feel great because it exists. Months later, you see weak pacing, clumsy wording, and that one awkward edit you somehow watched 20 times without noticing. Your work improved. Your ability to judge it improved faster. As your understanding grows, your judgment becomes more precise. You stop comparing your work only to your past attempts. You begin comparing it to the standard you now know good work can reach. Ippo experiences that gap against Date. By then, Ippo has already fought his way to a title shot. He is skilled enough to recognize how Date controls his attacks, disrupts his rhythm, and stays calm under pressure. The more Ippo understands, the larger the gap appears. The same thing happens when your early workouts become serious training. Your hobby becomes paid work, or your casual videos become a channel you genuinely want to grow. You stop asking, "Did I do it?" Now you ask, "Was it actually good?" Congratulations. You unlocked better standards and several new ways to annoy yourself. Sometimes growth makes you feel less capable because you stop measuring yourself by what you completed and start measuring yourself by how well you completed it. The doubt did not necessarily get smarter. Your eyes did. The danger begins when you treat that feeling as a final verdict on everything you've already done. You attempt something harder and struggle more than you expected. Within minutes, one bad performance puts your entire history on trial. Maybe the earlier success was luck. Maybe you were never as good as you thought. Maybe you finally reached the limit of what you can do. You demand years of proof before believing you improved. Then accept one bad day as proof that you did not. But one performance shows only how your current skill holds up against that particular challenge. Struggling with something harder can expose a real weakness without erasing the ability required to reach that level. The struggle is real evidence, but it's only one part of the picture. The Date fight revealed something else. It exposed abilities Ippo had not yet developed, but it could only expose them because Ippo had already grown strong enough to earn that title shot. His earlier victories prepared him to reach Date. They had not prepared him to defeat him. You experience the same distortion when you move from beginner workouts to heavier training, or from following instructions at work to making decisions with no obvious right answer. Same person, higher demand. When doubt shows up, complete both halves. I'm uncertain about, but I can now. Do not let the first answer delete the second. Sometimes your progress becomes harder to see because the next level tests abilities you never needed before. The real danger begins when staying humble becomes an excuse to pretend none of your growth counts. Someone tells you that you did well. You reply with some version of, "It wasn't that hard. I got lucky. It could have been better." Every win gets corrected before you're allowed to feel it. Someone else is always further ahead, so your progress never seems impressive enough to count. You call it staying humble. Yet, if no achievement is allowed to count, you can keep improving without ever feeling that you've moved. An accurate view of yourself has room for two facts. You have improved. You still have more to learn. Ignoring your weaknesses distorts the picture. Refusing to acknowledge your progress distorts it too. Humility allows you to admit, "I'm not finished." Inadequacy turns that into, "Nothing I have done matters." In Champion Road, Ippo must defend his title against Sonata. Becoming champion gives Ippo stronger opponents and more weaknesses to confront. But those weaknesses only exist because he's already reached a higher level. He still needs to improve, but everything that earned him the championship still counts. You can be proud of finishing your first project while admitting the audio sounds like it was recorded inside a cereal box. Acknowledging the project does not require pretending the flaws are gone. After your next small win, say, "This counts, and I still have more to learn." No but. Do not acknowledge the win and then immediately explain why it doesn't count. Your past wins are evidence of what you can survive, learn, and become. Dismiss them, and every new struggle can feel like starting from nothing. With no reason to trust, you'll find your way through again. Ippo may never reduce strength to one final answer, but each new version of that question exists because Ippo can now see something the frightened beginner could not. Ippo began boxing with one question: what does it mean to be strong? He thought victory might answer it. Each opponent complicated that answer by showing him a different form of strength and a weakness he had not faced before. Years of boxing taught Ippo why strength was more complicated than he first believed. Remaining uncertain does not make his progress false. It does not make yours false either. Be honest about where you're still falling short. Give the same attention to the things you can now do that you could not do before. Ippo may still be searching for the meaning of strength, but the frightened boy who first asked the question is gone. You may not feel strong enough yet either. Keep going. One day, you may realize you became strong while you were still searching for it.